with Natalie Lauren today because you already know it's Boss Talk Wednesday. So, guys, click the link. Oh, not click the link. Click the share button, guys. Um, Also, we're live on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Waiting for Natalie to log in. We got a good topic today,
It is Boss
and
Wednesday.
let me know if you can hear me on Instagram too. What up, fam? Like and share the link on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Just share it out with your friends. About to talk about a really good topic for Boss Talk Wednesday. She's logging in. I'm logging in. All right, once again, guys, like and share this feed. Did it go through, Natalie? Okay, there you go. What up, fam?
Yeah, hey. I just want to make sure we on Facebook because you know how I do.
Can you hear me clearly on Instagram?
Yeah, I got you clearly on IG.
What up, Success? What up, Steve? Going live today, guys. Talking about a really good topic. We're talking about how to bring in the what you're believing for into reality. Right? How to bring what you're believing for into your reality. All right. So dope because I was with actually Steve this weekend. I went to a birthday party of.
What you
Okay,
believe
you got
for
to be one of them.
into your reality.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, it's okay. This is like a bad church mic. um, I went to the birthday party of one of my mentors this weekend in Orlando, and it was just so dope because it really was like so much opposition to get there, right? But I knew I had to be in the room because of the level of faith that's in that room. You know, sometimes
Mm.
you got to really be so gun ho on being around the energy and the atmosphere that you want, because a lot of times too is the energy that we surround ourselves on a daily basis is very stagnant. So for example is when you think about your daily routine, what do you do in your daily routine and how does it impact your success and growth? For example, is how do you start your morning? What things do you do? Do you pray? Do you meditate? Do you listen to faith confessions? Or do you not do things that's going to be proactive to your future for the day? So when it comes to moments where I know I need to be uplifted, I choose and I press to be in those circles because I want to make sure that whatever I'm believing for is encouraged in every area of my life. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I'm believing for, whatever you're believing for, I like to make sure that everything that I do on a daily basis matches the level of belief. It surrounds the level of belief because when you're trying to work on something, when you're trying to build something and manifest something to your reality, it's so important to really watch the company you keep, watch the energy you keep, think about what you're thinking about, listening to, because you have the ear gate, you have the eye gate, you have the mouth gate. These two right here control what happens out of here and what controls what you're going to eventually see. So what we're talking about today is so going back to the birthday party, it was just such a dope experience because it was just nothing but manifestations happening, you know, just seeing wealth in the room and how it started from the thought process to where, you know, you have a whole environment of people who are just living a certain level in their mind that they brought into reality. So we want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about how do you bring what you're believing in for into your reality. So Natalie, how was your week first off? Because I didn't speak to you in like a week. I didn't speak to you off
I
camera.
know. It's like it was a crazy week. I'm like everything there was a shift that happened within me and my business and the direction that I'm taking, but it's a good shift because
Mhm.
I've come to a place where okay, you've learned a lot. Now what are you going to do with the information that you've learned? How are you going to
That's
pivot from
good.
here? And so I am just really thinking about kind of expanding the platforms. Right now I'm on IG. We're on IG. Welcome IG. How y'all
What up,
doing?
fam?
Um we're on Facebook. We are on YouTube, but it's just like where else can you expand? And I had a conversation with my husband and he was like, you are like you have all these lakes, little lakes that you have, you know, your hand in. Why don't you extend more and extend your reach? And I was like, does
That's
that mean
good.
I should go on LinkedIn? And so he's like, yeah, you should definitely go on LinkedIn. Come on. But now it's like, okay, I need to have a strategy because before I would just go into these places and just start doing the same thing that I've done before. But
Mm,
now that I have really understood the lay of the land and how business works, I now know that I just can't go on another platform without an actual strategy for that platform.
good.
I'm going to be very strategic about who I'm speaking to, what I'm going to be speaking on. How does LinkedIn actually work? Because before, I mean, I've been on LinkedIn for years, but I've never actually used it. And never really tapped into surveying the land. And I talk about
Yeah.
that all the time as an entrepreneur. If you want to have a new offer or a service, do your market research, survey the
Mm,
land, find out where your people at, what they're wanting, what they're saying. And so I have to now eat what I've been cooking and go on
that's
LinkedIn and
good.
be like, yo, who's out here? What are they looking for? What's the language of LinkedIn? Because I feel like it's a whole different culture compared
Yeah.
to entrepreneurs that are on IG, Facebook, and
Mm,
Clubhouse. It's a new way of looking at things. Like people on LinkedIn, they gonna pay, but they're not paying for trash. You got to come with
that's
your like
good.
your
That's true.
testimonials. You got to have some kind of evidence that you know what you're doing. Like you just not gonna come out there and be like, oh, I'm gonna make a whole lot of money. These people really want to know that you say you are who you say you are. So
Mm.
that's what I've been going through over the last couple of weeks, just pivoting and expanding my reach.
I love that because you said some really good things about that. I think as entrepreneurs, sometimes we get stagnant and comfortable where we are. And there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with enjoying the level that you're on. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think sometimes we really lose sight. Because we become the top of the totem pole there,
Yes.
when it's time to go on to the next thing, you're like a fresh, it's like going to high school. You know, when
Yep.
you went to eighth grade, you was it. Now you realize you're back you're a freshman in high school.
Oh my
Then same
gosh.
thing. You know, you gotta do things all over again to get to the top of your game. But the thing I love about it is that you chose to actually do your research. You know, one thing about manifesting is you have to research the life that you want. You
Ooh.
can't just say, "Yeah, I believe I received this by faith," but then your actions don't line up with what you want to believe. You know, so research is so imperative when you're really trying to go to the next level. So, for example, is let's say I want, like, one of my faith practices, you guys know, is I want to build $10,000 a day in sales with my business. So, what does that actually look like? What is the work I
Mhm.
have to match with my faith to bring it together? So, if I'm trying to manifest $10,000 a day in sales, what does that look like? What does it look like in the person who makes that? So, what I do is I research people who are currently making that and above. One of my
Mhm.
mentors, she sis brings in about 100K a day, at least half of the month. So when I think
Mhm.
about that, I'm like, okay, so let me talk to her, see what her daily activities are. The first thing she does, every room in her house has a vision board. So wherever I look, I'm going to create vision for the first thing. Second thing is
Mhm.
she actively gets up and pray and meditate every single day for at
Yeah.
least 30 minutes. She starts off with gratitude, then she starts to with talk about what she wants to manifest. And the other thing she does too is she chooses who belongs in her circle, who she has
That's good.
conversation with. So when you think about that, if I'm saying that, hey, I want to be in my business manifesting $10,000 a day, I have to take the steps to do the research. And I love that you said that. You're researching the lay of the land, so when you go in, you go in with purpose. So
Yes.
oftentimes is when we say these big manifestation things, I think when we don't really take time to think about what we're saying and think about the road to get there, we become ill-equipped. So if I know I want to manifest a
Mm.
certain thing, I want to research, what do I have to do to make that sales goal? What do I have to do to be in the rooms I want to be in? What up, Halima out here? What up,
I
fam?
know, right?
Yeah, so I have to start reaching out to I have to start doing research for the direction I want to go. Like, for example, let's think about when we used to travel back in the day. Halima made this point the other day. We had MapQuest. You would
Yes.
type in the address where you want to
Yep.
go, and then it would give you a literally roadmap to how to get there.
Yep.
So oftentimes we say where we want to go, but we don't prepare to take, because if you don't on a road trip, I see something that's like
Oh,
eight
that's
hours.
good.
I'm gonna pack food. I'm gonna know where the gas stations are. I'm gonna think about all of this stuff because I want to be prepared to receive what I want to manifest.
Oh, that's so good that you want to be prepared to receive what you want to manifest. That is so good.
Mhm.
And we don't, a lot of times when we're manifesting, we think about what we're going to receive instead of thinking about who we're going to become. And
That's
this is what
good.
I deal heavily with my clients is they're always yes, we got to do the mindset shift and all that stuff, and we got to have the actionable steps, but they're always in their vision, they're always looking at what's around them, and they're
Hmm.
looking at, oh, in my vision, in my final vision, my company is going to be doing this, or I'm going to have a big house, or I'm in my kids are going to be doing this and that, and we're going to have a car and all this other stuff, and it's just like all about the tangible things that they're going to have, but they
Hmm.
forget to realize in the vision they're supposed to be looking at who they are. Who are
Yeah,
you in the vision? Who is the person? Your destiny is not necessarily the place that you're going to be, but it's who you're going to become once you've arrived at that place. And
that's
as you're
good.
journeying through entrepreneurship, a lot of times people come into the journey and they're not entrepreneurs. Let's keep it 100. You're coming out of corporate, you are an employee. You're not going to shift that employee mindset because you just now got a placard that says CEO. No, it
Yeah.
takes an actual journey from the employee, from self-employed, from contractor to becoming that CEO. Things are being put into place, and along the way, you're making either CEO decisions or you're making self-employment decisions. You're making a decision
That's
as an
good.
employee, and every time something happens, you have to now decide to shift into that particular mode. So, like you said before, if you're going to shift into that mode, who am I going to be? As a CEO, how does a CEO operate? You have to
Yeah.
know that stuff before you actually step into that role, because you'll be pretending to be a CEO and you're actually an employee, and things are not coming in alignment with what you are and who you are supposed to be, because you said something real powerful earlier and I had to write it down. Whatever you're believing for, the action should match the intention.
Yes.
Our actions do not match our intentions a lot of the time. So we're not getting what we were manifesting or we are asking God to manifest in our lives because there's no alignment. You have to
Mm.
be doing the things that a CEO does in order to become a CEO. You're not waiting till you're in that position to do it. You got to do it right now when the opportunities present themselves. And then along the way, you start seeing things coming into alignment, things manifesting, because you're the person that you say you are.
That's good on so many different levels. First thing, I like what you said about actually doing the stuff before you get the title. I think in entrepreneurship, you have to know how to do every part of your business.
You
Not
do.
saying you have to do it, but you have to know because
Yes.
you want to be able to fact check somebody if you are buying their the supplies for them, so you
Hmm.
know if I'm paying for your service that you're doing the right thing. Secondly, I thought that was really good with knowing who you are becoming is so important, and I think too is we undervalue research, we
We do.
undervalue being prepared.
We
And I
do.
think too, it's a great thing to come up with a great product. It's a great thing to have an idea, but the thing about it is you have to have some type of footwork. When you're really trying to go to that next level, you have to find moments where you take time to research something. Like I'm not the best planner when it comes to business stuff. I'll say that outright. I'm not the best
Hmm.
planner, but I will take time to each consult my circle, or at
Hmm.
least like for like if I'm trying to launch something, I'll call Halima, I'll call you, I'll call one of my mentors
Hmm.
because I
Hmm.
value your opinions in my life because I know for a fact that you guys think the best of me and want the best of me. So when you're
Yeah.
manifesting, you want to definitely have a circle where you can really have a really good business circle. At Boss Up,
Hmm.
Shani has said, like Jay, you was my first business best friend.
Oh,
And
that's
we
so
were
cool. I
talking
love that.
yeah, and we were talking about that since. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So, um, we have business best friends. So what that means is when you're starting a business, your circle is so important because a circle will help propel you to the next level and it'll help elevate you. So when you start thinking about what you want to believe, that's when people say, "Oh, my family don't support me." They're not supposed to support you
Yep.
because their level of thinking will sometimes hinder you from the success you need to reach. So when it comes to your circle, they help prepare you as well too. And also, what your circle does with manifesting is they keep you on your P's and Q's. Like for example, is if I say I'm believing in something, one of y'all gonna check me. I already know that for a fact. I already know my friends will check me like, Jay, I thought you said you was doing this. Even the other day, Natalie's been what you've been really working on me with, and so is Halima, is just that when I say I'm gonna do something, it's about also creating a purpose. What is the purpose of doing this? And now what I've
Hmm.
created, if you guys check out my link tree and look at my online academy, which I launched last week, you'll start to see
Woo.
that, listen, you got to drop it in there. with the online academy, I've learned how to do everything I love to do by organizing it by where I can funnel people in. So you'll still get, all of me, but in different circles. So I dropped the e-course called Three Steps to um, Finding and Discovering and Prospering in Your Future. So if you're looking for your purpose, I can drop you in there. If you're a chef and you're looking to really increase your sales, if you're looking to really find out who you are as an artist and to really increase all of that, I have a 30-day boot camp called the Private Dining Chef Boot Camp. And then I have another one where, let's say you really want to grow your social media marketing. I have a 30-day boot camp just for that. So now I'm learning how to still be who I am, a creative person, but how to really put myself in quadrants. So this way, I'm not all over the place. So if you ask if I have a creative who wants to expand their social media reach, I can drop you into one thing. If you're a chef, I can do strictly chef stuff in this thing. And if you want to find your purpose, and because I was struggling with that, I know where God wants me to lead, and I know where I want to do in life, and I know I have all these great ideas. But when you don't take time to really funnel everything, you'll be all over the place. So you can be whatever you want to be. You can manifest whatever you want to manifest, but when you don't take time to plan every role in your life, manifestation is further from you because you're not really taking time to start concentrate and focus. Even if you do an hour a day on one part of your life, an hour a day on this part of your business, you can do everything. You can do it all, but you have to really monetize your time better. So okay, at 1 o'clock, I'm just from 1 to 2, 2 to 3. And now I'm more successful at achieving those goals of manifestation.
Yo, I can't believe you just dropped 3 courses in a week. Like, what in the world?
That was a week. But how long I've been thinking about that? How long I've been working on that, Natalie? That's almost like a year of stuff I've been talking to you about. But in that 1 week, because I had to buckle down and get focused, and I dropped all 3 of them, and they're all ready to go.
Awesome. That is crazy. Listen, this man said, if you need purpose, I got a course for that. If you need help with your private dining chef experience and you need to make money, I got a course for that. And what's the third one?
The third one is the social media branding course, social media and
Social
marketing
media
course.
and branding. I have a course for that. And you know what? You are phenomenal when it comes to that. The social media and branding. You will have a brand put up like this boss up talks. Like, although it was in your mind for such a long time, when you started gaining momentum and you started planning and pushing forward, like the creativity that came out of you in such a short period of time was phenomenal, that I'm like, I love the layout. I love, everything about it, because you really took time to plan. You really took time to sit down and plan. And there was nothing else. Like when it came down to this man with Boss Up Talks, everything else took a back seat. And Boss Up was like, all right, we're going to take these couple of hours. We're going to flesh this thing out. Boom, boom, boom. And it seems like it just came out of nowhere. But a lot of times people don't realize it is in the planning that gives you momentum for the manifestation. You're sitting sitting on an idea. How long are you going to sit on an idea? We've done it. Both of us have done it, because we think, oh, it should be done with this particular person, or I can't move because these people are the ones that started it with me. And it's just like, no. Write it down. Put it to some paper, because there's going to be an opportunity and a moment. I love there was a teaching that I did on Clubhouse, and it was, don't make haste of the moment. Don't waste the moment. There are moments that comes, opportunities. It's not like a 6-month period or a 12-month period or a couple of years. They're literally like a day or minutes. And you have to make a decision. One thing about entrepreneurs, they are decisive. They're not going to teeter totter in between. Oh my gosh, should I? And if you know that you're that kind of person, we need you to start taking action. Even if the action might be incorrect, take action to fix the action that you took in the first place. But when you don't take action, that's when you don't see manifestation. If you quit, you know the end result is nothing is going to happen. If you don't move, you already know the outcome of not moving is nothing. You already know that. It's better for you to move and fall, or move and go 3 steps backwards, than to just sit at 0. A
Yeah.
negative number is actually movement. At least you know, gosh, I made a mistake. I moved backwards. Now let me move in the opposite direction. But when you don't move at all, you have no momentum. Nothing will ever get manifested if you do not move. It's time for many of us to start moving, even if it's in the direction you think is not right, because any movement is better than nothing at all.
Listen, that's the truth. Because I think too is by the way, guys, make sure you guys click in Natalie and I's bio, because if you want to get more information about the course that we're talking about, we have them on live already in our courses. So if you want to definitely get into those courses, log in to our link on Instagram. Instagram has the Facebook. You can just type our website in or our name and it'll pop up in Google. But going what you said is so important is
And
because a
Google,
lot of
look at
times,
us. You could Google us.
listen, you could.
I
You
love
funny.
that you said that.
He's funny, but it's the truth though, and I think too is like, but you know, it's so funny you said about the whole Google part. The reason why Google and stuff you can see is on is because we're actively pursuing what we want to do.
Yes,
You know, if you take no actions, you get no results. There's so many people
none.
who are actively doing nothing, and you can't wonder why you're not bossing up. You can't wonder why you're
Mm-hmm.
not manifesting when you never move. My friend Ariana Pierce, she has this video online about how they do a skit where they're like, let's say 20, they said, oh, this is my year. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And next, you know, they don't do nothing. So 5 years later, this is my year. It gets to where they're
I
80
know,
years
right?
old, you know, and they still talking about what they're going to do. It's like life is way too short. Like what I said for August, what I said I wanted to commit to traveling every single week for my birthday. That's what I said I wanted to do. Every week in August, I want to
Mm-hmm.
travel somewhere differently. I'm on my fourth place right now. So like for
Come
my
on.
birthday, I went to Jamaica, then I did a concert in Philly, and then I did Orlando this past weekend, and now I'm in Puerto Rico, and I'm planning something for next week too. But the thing about it is that's what I said I wanted to do. And it's not a thing about like a bragging thing, but it's just like you can have the life you want to live, but what are you doing to push that? So for
Yes,
me, you know what I did? Sales were looking a little rough this past week. I drove Lyft. Like I literally, like, yo, no, this is what I said I wanted
that's
to
what I'm
do.
talking about.
I'm gonna drive for like 2 days and pay for the Airbnb, everything like that. But it's just like, how bad do you want your goals and your dream? Like, let's say a business not working, are you afraid to drive Lyft? Um, I'm sorry, my phone was just
Who
someone's
called
calling
you?
me. I don't know, like I'm live every day, every Wednesday. It's an hour. Just wait till later. But there's certain things that I just prepare myself for. So sometimes, how bad do you want it? Sometimes you take clients you don't want because and I hate the term. Oh, it's going to give you exposure. Sometimes you got to take those exposure events but you have to go in with the right mindset. So what I do is, let's say for example, it's a gig that I want to take or something I don't want to do. I'll say this. You know what? I know this is not something I want to do, but I'm grateful for this will be an opportunity for show to show someone I need to my gift, showing someone this is an opportunity for me to show my gift or sow my gift into somebody. So
Mm-hmm.
I've learned how to change my words instead of
Come
being
on.
ungrateful about an opportunity. Let me find ways to be thankful because an attitude of gratitude will always lead you one step closer to your level of manifestation. So if I'm believing for something, there are certain things in life where it's like, why am I keep going through this? Why do I have to keep coming to this moment? Maybe that moment is a test for you to overcome to get one step closer to where you want to be. But because you're taking it as like a negative thing instead of an opportunity, like today, I have the opportunity to learn how to grow my
That's
business. When
right.
stuff gets rough, I have the opportunity to use to gain wisdom from this moment. So when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to the ins and out of your business, like when you start changing your mindset from I have to I get to, you'll start seeing so many other blessings, so many other manifestations start easing into your life. But it takes you first acknowledging the good, acknowledging the opportunity, because I've learned that, like, even too, is the way I get hooked up with so many of my mentors is because of my attitude. My attitude led me to so many opportunities. Like, even sometimes too, is like, my friend was like, why do you speak to everybody? Because that's an opportunity for me to, so
Listen,
you just never know who you're going to meet. So by you speaking to everybody, being nice, being kind, you start to realize that a lot of doors start to open for you that would have always been closed if you never would have opened up your mouth.
Listen, you said a whole mouthful, but I'm gonna just stick with the one thing, the exposure moments. That
Hmm.
right there, like you said a whole lot, because exposure, listen, manifestation means to reveal. If
Yes.
you don't want to utilize your exposure moments, how in the world are you going to get revelation? How are people going to see you in your atmosphere, in
That's good.
doing what you are great at? And we keep thinking that those exposure moments, because they don't have a monetary benefit, that they're not
Mm.
beneficial. I'm going to say that again. We think the exposure moments, because there is no monetary benefit, that it is not beneficial, and that's a lie. So
Hmm.
I was recently asked to speak at a Moms in Business International. Let me get it right. The South Columbia chapter, and it was Free Friday, and I talked about, how to leverage your freebies, and that we have to really shift our mindset to see that free isn't always free. We think because
Mm.
something doesn't have a monetary value attached to it that it's free, but that's not the case. We're asking people for their time. Time is the most valuable resource. It's not actually money. If you
Yeah.
have time, you can actually make more money, but that's a whole nother talk.
That's good.
And then your focus, you're asking people for their focus. Everybody knows, because they talk about it all the time, that when it comes to this generation right now, because we have been conditioned to get everything real quick, capturing somebody's focus is the most difficult thing that you can do. But once you realize, when you are an entrepreneur, visibility is so important. If you're
Hmm.
not visible, I don't care how great you are, how skilled you are. If you are phenomenal, you will be the best kept secret. Secrets nobody knows, understands, sees, or hears. I don't want to be the best kept secret. I want to
Yeah.
be the best. I want people to see me all the time. And those exposure moments, that's for you to show up and show out and
Hmm.
captivate and capture people's attention, because their focus is more important than their money. Once you have their focus, once you've
Mm.
captured their attention, money is the easiest thing to get. But we got
Yeah.
to learn how to use those exposure moments to become captivating, because a lot of us are boring. Let's keep it 100. You are a boring entrepreneur. So nobody wants to be around you. Nobody wants to buy what you got. I don't care if it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, because you don't know how to present the information. Nobody wants you. So use the
Yeah.
exposure moments to now fine tune and craft your gifting and craft
Mm.
your message, so that people will want what you have, because
That's good.
you are the best at what you're doing. Exposure, I love it. Bring it on, baby. What you got for me to do? Because when I show up, I'm going to show out, and you're going to want what I have. And if you don't, then I need to go back and refine and retweak and do it better, because every time I step on a platform, on a stage, in a room, people got to be like, yo, who that chick? Where's she at?
Hmm.
What's her
That's
number?
good.
How do I get in contact with her? And if it's not the case, it's okay. I need to go back and fix it. I need to figure out a way
That's
to get to
good.
that place.
That's a good you say that. I had the question I asked somebody before, what's greater, money or influence? And I said, influence is always the greater because
Yeah,
you can always so
that's so
money
true.
is conditioned on who owns it, right?
Yes.
Money is determined by the owner, what good it does. But when you have influence you can like influence over people will always be a greater thing than money because you can influence people to
Mm-hmm.
give you the money. So when you
Yes.
have those moments where you're in a room that you may have not getting paid to be in, it's about how you
Mm-hmm.
influence those around you to really get what you need.
Yeah.
So when you have opportunity, like I was always a person to always have to talk. Whenever you had an event, so it's like, oh, get Josh to talk, let Josh represent everybody because I was going to represent well. But also that had to allow with influence. So when you open your mouth, do people want to be around you or do they want to be away from you? When you
Mm.
open your mouth, do people want you to shut up or do they want you to keep talking? Because what happens is too is when you start thinking about that, you start to really be more strategic about what you talk about.
Yeah.
Some people can talk hours about nothing,
Yep.
and I'm more of a straight shooter. Like I'm like kind of directed by a lot of different things because I don't like to. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about that no more. No, I'm good because it's just like what you're saying is not being impactful to my life. So when it comes to you talking or you speaking, when you talk, do you speak with influence? Like, who wants to be around you? And I know
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's like being popular in high school. People like being around certain people in high school because they were popular.
Yeah.
So when you think about that in your own personal life, does your gift bring you influence? Like me
That's
being a
good.
chef, the food is the introduction, but I
That's
am the
it.
main finale.
That's
So
it.
like the food brings me into so many people, but then now it's my turn to start gaining access to people and their friends. Because just because I cook well doesn't mean people want to come to where I have. They love the atmosphere. They love the engaging conversation. So when you think about that is with your business, how oftentimes does your conversation lead you to get manifestation? Like
Wow.
on a daily basis, right?
Wow.
When you think about the influence you have around those who are around you, right? Does your conversation influence people to want to connect you to other people? And a lot of times it's no, because it's just like people can see your value. Whether you tell them the value or if you show them the value, people can always see your value.
Yeah, that's so
And I
true.
think, yeah, and so that's why even when you think about different circles, the reason why Natalie is a sought after speaker, especially with the mom group, is because Natalie is influential and she will give you clear steps and clarity of your purpose as it relates
Mm-hmm.
to who you are as a mom, who you as an entrepreneur. That's why she has influence in that area, and I have influence in the area I have because I realized that with my conversation, once you give me the opportunity to speak, I'm gonna seal
Yes,
the deal. Me
he
and
will.
me and Halima went to this event in New York City. We was invited by Ariana. It was a crypto event, and it was with this company called Maverick. Now I didn't know what they was talking about for most of the time. It was about talking about NFTs, right? So I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot about crypto, but NFTs is kind of like I'm still kind of like really learning about that part. So we went to an event that we were people that didn't know us at all, and one of the people who were kind of the host,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "Oh, because I had my Chef J hat. I think I had a Boss Up
Yes.
shirt or something. I'm always wearing apparel." She's talking to us, and then me and Halima has this lady so engulfed in what we're talking about what we do on the main on that like on outside of this part, and it's just like you can be at
Mm-hmm.
the circle where you were an invited guest, but you become a headline speaker with this person because you're so
Wow.
intriguing by what you say to these people. So when it comes to influence and it comes to manifestation, sometimes and the reason why you want to watch what you say is because the right people in the room will connect you to the right places, but you have to be mindful of
Mm-hmm.
your conversation. What words do you speak on a
Oh,
daily basis? Is it elevating you or is it making people want to be run away from you? What are you influencing people to do by your speech? And that's so important.
yo, Josh. Okay. You just set it off. You said, be mindful
Crazy.
of your conversation. Is it elevating you or is it hindering you? Oh my gosh, that's so good. So my son recently asked me this question. He said, "Mom, would you rather have $50 million or 50 million loyal friends?" And I was like, "I'm $50 million. What do I need 50 million loyal friends for?" He was like, "Well, if you had 50 million loyal friends, you could ask them for $2 and you will have $100 million. They're
Come
loyal
on out
friends."
here.
I was like, okay, you got me. You got me. He was like, that's why influence is so much more important than money. And so
Mm,
as soon as you said that, that conversation came back to my mind. And it was in a conversation that I was able to elevate my thinking so
that's
that
good.
now I can see things clearly. And you just said, what conversations are you having? I'm like, Holy Spirit, what is Josh doing right now on this live? Because our conversations are it's like the door, the gateway. This is why I created the Find Your Voice course. This is
Mm,
why I really wanted to help people find their voice, because people don't realize how important it is that your conversation is the thing that's going to take you to the next level. Your voice, your words, your mouth. The Bible says death and life is in the power of the tongue. And it is so true. Like, we can speak our way into the next level. You didn't
that's
even
good.
just talk about the conversation that we're having with other people, as in, the course that I created, because you got to know as an entrepreneur how to clarify your voice. Because if you're talking like Charlie Brown's teacher, want, ain't nobody gonna have to hear what you say. They're gonna scroll to the next reel. You got to
That's true.
understand how to master your message, what you're saying, the language that you're talking to them, and then how you're positioned, where you are in your journey, how it affects both of that. But I'm not here to promote the course. Go get it on my IG, the website. But just that,
That's
just
funny.
who are you talking to with other people, and what are you saying with yourself? That
Hmm.
inner conversation that you're having with yourself is the thing that is causing many of us, entrepreneurs included, well, not me, because I changed my life, I'm reformed, many of you to not get the manifestation that you want to see. What are you saying to yourself? You're desiring one thing, but you're saying, oh, this is never going to work. I'm never going to make it. I'm
Mm,
never going to be that person. Oh, I wish one day I could be like X, Y, and Z, or maybe one day I can have, maybe one day, and one day is always eluding you. You got to change your conversation. You got to
yeah.
change what you're saying to yourself. You're
Hmm.
thinking it's other people that's hindering you. No, baby, it's you that's hindering you. What are you saying to you that's causing
Hmm.
you not to see the manifestation of what you really desire in your life?
And that's so good. I think the greatest conversation you can have is with yourself.
Yes.
Because the thing about it too is those self conversations are real ones. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can always fake yourself around people. You can
Yes.
always give a facade to people about
Ooh.
who you really are. You know, because you got some people who talk a good game, seem influential. Then we really get to know them like, yo, I don't really like you like that. But the conversations that you have with yourself are the most enlightening ones because it causes you to be real with yourself. And I think too is like this one. I had this one lady I worked with. She wasn't my supervisor, but she was somebody who was like an overseer of our department, and she was a minister, right? And she was so nasty, like
Mm.
so nasty to people. We used to call her Ursula. We used to like Ursula from Little Mermaid.
Yes.
But what happened was, I don't know, look
Man,
at
she was
Ursula acting up
mean.
again. She was mean, but the thing about it was when she said she was a minister, I asked her one day, I said, what kind of conversations do you have with God in your personal time? I said, because the God I know, the God I serve, he checks me about how I deal with people, how I handle people. So
You
she
said
got
this to her?
offended. Yeah, I don't care. You know, listen, I
I
don't
know you
care.
don't.
I don't care because the thing about it is too is I'm like a defender, right? So like when
Mm-hmm.
people picking on people who can't be like defended, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say something about it, right?
Yeah.
And then so I said I want to know this because this is what happened. Okay, so this is how we had this conversation. I was quitting. This is the second job I ever quit. It was my first teaching job I quit,
Mm-hmm.
and I had an opportunity to go somewhere else, but then the principal in charge had, she once in a while I really left. Now, mind you, she was crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
the other part about that too, it was a person who was like her bestie, and she was like kind of like in charge of our department. And so she calls me after I had the conversation, telling my principal about herself because she had it coming. Like I was trying to be real nice and real godly, but then she was like just coming crazy at me. I said, "Let me tell you about yourself." So I had that energy that was, "Let me tell you about yourself" that
Tell
whole
about
day.
yourself.
Yeah, so she called me as a believer to correct me about what I did with my sister in Christ. And I said, I know you ain't talking to me like this because you are one of the nastiest
Mm.
Christians I know. So when I asked her about that, I said, how do you have real conversations with God? Because you're nasty. Like you literally make people cry when they leave your presence. So
Wow.
going back to those self conversations is when it comes to you really getting to know the real you, what do those real conversations look like? Because when you're really believing to elevate in your life,
Mm-hmm.
those real conversations allow you to create a transparency with God that when you have these moments of transparency, it really shows you the real you, and it shows you what's inside of you. Like the Bible says that we're like a looking glass. So what that means is
Mm-hmm.
when we read the word, not because it's a chore to do, it starts to create a communication with us and God to allow us to be transparent with ourselves. So when I look at that looking glass and I read the word, I'm constantly challenged to really to work on who I am as a person because I want to be able to give the world the best version of my gift, right?
Come on.
So when I start having those alone times with God and I'm praying, I'm focusing, what does an alone time look like for you guys? Do you get edified? Are you challenged about certain areas of your life that's not working? Because those moments of growth happens when you're transparent with yourself. Forget talking to the people y'all want to talk to or getting the rooms y'all want to get in. How does a room look when you're talking to yourself? Are you motivated to
Wow.
do better? Are you challenged to really get to the next level? Like, what does it look like talking to yourself? That's why I love my alone time. Like I love traveling by myself. I love doing things by myself because sometimes we're always around people that we don't know how to quiet ourselves and hear what God wants to do in our life to really help us to really grow and elevate because we're so busy talking. We're so busy trying to get to the next level. We're so busy trying to keep up with the Joneses. But it's just like for me in my life where I'm going, I'm like, yo, God, if it's just me and you, I'm good. I'm good
Mm-hmm.
on that. And as I'm good with that part, let me just be a better person every day. Let me watch how I talk to
Yeah.
people. So my
Yeah.
goal is a journey of self-discovery every time I get time to be by myself, when I get time to talk to God. Like I'm at a place where it's just like, yo, if it's just me and you, God, I'm down for it. Thank you for the blessings. But if you want to get just to me and you, let me get there quickly to my alone time so I can have that growth and development.
Oh, that's so good. That is so,
Yeah.
so good. And and over the years, I realized that people who are highly successful are highly
Hmm.
self-aware. And to
Definitely.
see, yeah, that you are like, yo, I have to really put a lot of emphasis, not really on what everybody else is doing, but
Hmm.
refining who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you start doing that, the things that you desire, really truly desire, are going to be yours. They seem
Hmm.
like they happen to manifest because the work that you're doing is so totally different than what people tell you. They'll tell you, oh, in order for you to advance in business, you got to be able to work X amount of hours, or you got to be able to convince clients all the time
Hmm.
that you are the best, one to. But it's just like, no, when you start working on yourself, when you, instead of
Hmm.
spending all of your time convincing people that you're the best, you're spending all of your time becoming the best. So by
Yeah.
you
That's
spending the
good.
time becoming the best in your field, in your arena, by fine tuning those things, people automatically begin to see you for who you are. You don't have to do the convincing. And when you present your offer, it's no longer this salesy thing. You're like, this is just what it is. This is just who I am. This is just how I flow. And people gravitate towards that because
Yeah.
you're being 100% who you are. And we don't realize that when we're coming in, especially for entrepreneurs. This goes for everybody because Chef J works with people who just looking to find their purpose. You do not even have to be an entrepreneur. But for entrepreneurs specifically, we don't realize that this is a journey in which we are becoming the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It is not just a journey of having what entrepreneurs have. You will never have what entrepreneurs have if you don't first become the entrepreneur who's able to hold and withhold those things.
Hmm. That's
So
good.
it's so good.
Yeah, I think I know when I was going to the church in Boston, when I went to school up in Rhode Island, Bishop Bobby Perry he did a sermon, a series on B, about the
Hmm.
Beatitudes, about
Yeah.
what are you becoming. And it's so impactful because when you start really learning and growing and really trying to live a life that's really elevating yourself and just a
Yes.
life of purpose, you have to, the important part about manifesting is, are you declaring stuff that you don't even want to become?
Hmm.
So if I want to be able to make a lot of money, that means I also have to save a lot of money. Are you good at saving? Like
Yeah.
there are certain things that we want to become, but do we
Yes.
really want to do the process attached
Yes.
to it?
Yes.
Because
That's it.
entrepreneurship is hard. It can be hard because you may have the best idea, but then you see like nothing progressing. Like,
Yes.
where you're like, why is my product not selling? And sometimes it's not selling or it's not good. It's just that you're in a season where the drought is there and you have to just be so thankful that, hey, I'm thankful that I have a business to run. I'm thankful that I
Hmm.
had the finances to buy the products. Like it's just such an attitude changer because when you're becoming who you want to be, when you're becoming is a daily activity
It is.
because I don't want to be on social media all day like I am posting stuff. I don't want
Hmm.
to be on social media researching reels because when you research reels, I got to look at how many people use this reel, how many people didn't use this reel because I don't use reels that have over 5,000 views on it already. I mean, 5,000 people who use it because it becomes oversaturated. I don't
Hmm.
want to always have to post on the right time. I don't want to always have to find
Come on.
entertain people to make money, but it's like that's what entrepreneurship is. You have to entertain people with your gifting so they want to buy into you. So when it comes to just really just like becoming, sometimes you do things that you don't want to do to get to where you want to go. It's
Yes.
all about freedom. Like I love the freedom
Yes.
that I get
Yes.
from entrepreneurship. It's not, is it easy? No, it's hard as hell. Like it's
It,
really like
it's
like
hard.
yes. So like some I have issues with high blood pressure sometimes. So I know for a fact that when there are things trying to attack me on a daily basis, I give
Mm-hmm.
it no attention because I already know it takes a millisecond for me to get in anxiety. It takes me really quick. It takes no time for me to get into fear. So I've created a mental block in my life that once somebody brings drama, once someone brings certain energy into my life, I'm quick to get rid of it because you don't want to allow somebody what doesn't belong to you to come onto you and like really stunt your growth. Like there are people in your life right now who don't belong there, but because
Come
you let them
on.
in there, they're the biggest hindrance to where you want to go. So when it comes to really just choosing a life where, hey, I deserve to be successful, and now when the first steps comes, you and your circle are so negative that you can't even pass the first step to get to where you want to go at the road to success. So it's so key, and it's like being an entrepreneur is a privilege to me. Being able to use my gift every single day to bless people, I don't take it lightly. So when it comes to business entrepreneurship and my time, I'm so serious about that because time is a commodity you can never get back. And if you think about it, sometimes it takes you longer to get to places because you're not actively living in your purpose. And once you start living in your purpose, life is so dope because it's like you got like a shield where when people bring you drama, like it's a way. When people bring you thoughts of lack, it just flies off of you because you've taken the time in your GPS lifestyle to the roadmap of manifestation that things can't even attract you, or it can't really attach to you because your
Mm-hmm.
mindset is so focused on achieving those goals, getting to the manifestation, getting to the bag, securing the bag, as people say. Like you want to be so focused on what you're focused on that you still have a good time, but you don't allow people to bring anything into your life, and that's including yourself. Because sometimes you're the drama. Sometimes
Listen.
you're the issue, and because you haven't checked yourself, you're gonna keep going hitting the same brick wall every time until you start to become daily who you want to be.
I don't have nothing to add. You just dropped the mic. You just went like,
No, but it's so true. Like, like I have so many people that talk to me during the course of the day. Like, I keep my phone on vibrate all day. So sometimes I miss people calls and text messages because, like, I'm going to check my phone when I want to check my phone. Because
hmm
I don't know what I'm going to see on my phone because, like, I'm a helping person. So I want to help people reach their goal. But there's some people who talk about the same stuff. I almost cursed. They talk
yeah.
about the same stuff every day. Like, fam, like I'm getting tired of you talking about these same issues every day. And so I realized I'm not a garbage can. God just designed me to be a
That's
garbage can. So
good.
why would I allow your trash to come on to me? So I really take my time to be mindful who ministers into my life, who speaks into my life, because you wonder why you're not growing. People keep bringing you garbage. You're not garbage, fam. Like,
Ooh.
stop accepting garbage. Like, that's a real thing. Like, when someone calls you, the first thing they do is gossiping, talking trash. Like, fam, let me get this phone. I'm gonna talk to you later. I'm quick to get off the phone with somebody because if your energy is not causing success in my life, I gotta get away from you. If my energy is not causing me success, I'm gonna check myself. Like, Jay, the
Yeah.
reason I'm
Yeah.
successful is because of you. Check yourself. Be quick to check yourself because if you're not quick to check yourself, you fall down a rabbit hole that has a never-ending bottomless pit.
Oh my gosh. I love how you said that. Oh my gosh. You fall down this rabbit hole that has a never ending bottomless pit. And you think that you're doing something, that you're going somewhere, and you're going nowhere because it
Yeah.
never ends. It's just a bottomless pit. And I like that you put boundaries around your conversation because that's
Hmm.
what I hear you saying. And we don't do enough to put boundaries around our conversation. And I love every time you be like, we are not trash cans. Stop accepting garbage. You have to identify what conversations are garbage conversations,
Hmm.
what conversations are going to be helpful for you,
Yeah.
what conversations are going to now increase your momentum, and what conversations are going to keep you stagnant. I heard
Yeah.
somebody said recently, if God wants to bring elevation in your life, he does it through a person. I think it was Pastor Mike Todd. When God
Yeah.
wants to, when the enemy wants to deter you and bring stagnation into your life, he uses a person. So people are so impactful. The people that we have in our circles are so
Mm-hmm.
impactful. The reason why we may not be seeing, or people may not be seeing manifestation, is because of the people that you have in your life. A
Yeah.
lot of the times, we forget that this, as you're moving towards the goal, towards the vision, towards the thing that God wants you to have, there are people that might be holding you back from moving forward. And
Mm-hmm.
the next open door could be 3 miles up ahead, 3 days up ahead, 4 weeks up ahead. But because people are keeping you stuck in the past, you're not
That's good.
actually moving forward because of the conversations. If you don't leave with nothing to hear today, this is what Chef J said. Your conversation is causing you to be stagnant in your purpose. You have
Yeah.
no clarity because you keep talking to people who are filled with chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Stop talking to people who don't know who they are, because it's muddling the waters. The conversation is causing you to stay in stagnation and you can't move forward in your purpose. Cut them off. That was a meme that
Yeah.
was like a couple of months ago. Cut them off. And even if
Yeah.
you cut people off for a little while, you can get some clarity as, oh, maybe I shouldn't have cut them off. Maybe I need to go
Yeah.
back
But it
and,
shows you
and
how to
reconnect.
appropriate them. It shows you how to
Yes,
appropriate them.
yes,
Some
really
people you're
do.
not need to be appropriated.
Look, it's this book
Like,
that I read. Somebody told me about this last year, right? Relational intelligence. She kept bringing it up, bringing it up, bringing it up. My girl, Alana, she kept bringing it up, and I was like, relational intelligence, I don't need that. And then months later, another lady brought it up, kept bringing it up. I was like, all right, I'm listening, God. You obviously want me to read this book about relational intelligence. Listen, this, my God took me to a specific area in the book. Didn't read the entire book. I started reading the book. He said, go to chapter so and so. Read that part, go deal with that particular person, because that person needs this part right here. This other person needs this particular boundary around them. Okay, this other person needs this thing right here. You need to connect with these particular people. Once I started doing that, like playing this chess game, I started realizing, oh my God, I was getting more momentum than I had
that's
ever had
good.
in the years prior, because I didn't put boundaries around my relationships and around my conversation. I was everybody's trash can. They could dump whatever it is that they
And
wanted
they're paying
on
no
me.
rent.
No rent. And you know what they said? Oh, because you're so good at it, Natalie. That's why I come to you for advice, and for, because you're so this and you're so that. So while they're dumping their trash on me, they're praising me for being a beautiful trash
Mm-hmm.
can.
At least pay me for it, Jesus. At least pay me to hear your problems.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, we need to put some
Yeah.
boundaries around these conversations if we want to see manifestation in our life moving forward.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think that's just the topic of the day. Putting
Mm-hmm.
boundaries on your conversation with you and others to
Yep.
really achieve the manifestation that you want. So, all right, guys, we had a really good conversation today.
We
Always good
did.
talking to my sister Natalie. Guys, so first thing is Boss Up. The second Boss Up boot camp is going to be October 21st and 22nd. I'm finalizing my speakers right now because we're gonna have it's gonna be lit. I'm saying right now,
Litty
if
lit
you
lit.
if you didn't get to the June Boss Up, you don't want to miss this next one. That's going to be on
Yes.
October 21st, 22nd, and then we're also planning another Boss Up out the country next year.
Ooh, can't wait for that
Yeah,
one.
it's about to be lit. It's about to be lit. So, guys, don't forget to click the link in our bios if you're looking for coaching on purpose or clarity. Hit us up if you're looking to also grow your business or your brand. Natalie has an excellent clarity framework, and she's building her academy as well as I am. So, if you're looking for coaching, if you want to just hear something, just to really just elevate your life. We're always working on elevating lives. So, click the link
Yes.
in the bio, guys. Have a super week full of purpose. And we want to see you accomplish every goal, every dream, and to really live out your destiny with clarity and purpose. All right. So have a good week, fam. We out.